Jump up and down, folks. Get pumped, get ready. For the first time in this 2016 season, we are joined by the man born in the year. This album came out in 1984. And also, I believe, one of his top 10 favorite songs of all time. Red, welcome to the program today. How you feeling?
Feeling great. Christmas time. Almost playoff football time. Playoff fantasy time anyway. I'm feeling very excited.
You know, usually I do try to throw a little Christmas jingle in at this time of year, and hopefully we'll have another chance here. But scrolling through some of my music, and that came up on my daily playlist, and it just seemed fitting. Although the last thing I want to do is get you pumped up today as we battle in the second to last week of the regular season, a game that probably means more to you than me. But I wanted to take a couple moments and just first confirm, is that one of your top 10 songs of all time?
At one point, it was actually my number one song. Right now, I think it would be too difficult to decipher 10 favorite songs. There's too many good songs out there. But
Fat Joe is obviously up there.
Let me put it to you this way: when it comes on the radio, I don't change the dial.
It's not a channel changer. Okay, great. Couple other things before we get into the football. People want to know, why were you calling Panuch Sophie?
This is something that I was unaware of until last night. Something I've never done, something I would never do. And I was talking to my boys last night here, but Zips and Stinger, they can't make sense of it either. So I'm trying to get to the bottom of it as you are.
Yeah, I got a call in from Mary and Liz many times, begging and pleading. I don't know if they sent you the same videos, but they were really begging and pleading for you to stop doing it. So hopefully you will.
Bad information is coming from somewhere. We definitely need to get to the bottom of it, though.
Great. Well, let's recap. Let's see where we kind of are in the playoff hunt. I want to bring up the projected playoff bracket at this point. We'll get a little more into our own matchup shortly. Right now, it's a family affair with me at the top of the standings at 11-1, followed by Darren, who's been. We get a little feedback, Red. If you could just pull maybe a device away from the computer. That's okay. We have Darren, of course, in second, who's been the league's leading scorer. We went over it earlier in the week during preview prep. Darren has won the highest point total 6 times this year, and is well ahead of everyone else. However, he is second right now, 2 games back of me. So 1 win by the Nitro this week or next would clinch the number 1 spot. Big Blue, who is in the mix just about every year, sitting there at number 3. He's got both Odell and Antonio Brown in the same game today, so that'll be a must-watch for him at 4:25 Eastern. And right now, Red, you are at the 4th spot at 7-5. You've come on well. You and I are pretty close in overall points. How do you feel? You kind of have a tough road to hoe. You play me and D these final 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was talking to Luke Wells Jr. about that recently, how I've got him by game in the standings, and I've got him by 40 points overall. But he has 2 of the weaker teams to play left, and I have 2 of the stronger teams to play left. But to be honest with you, I wouldn't want it any other way. You know, if I'm going to be on the top of the mountain at the end of the year, I want to get there through beating the best. And to get there, to quote Ric Flair, to be the man, you have to beat the man. And I would say the 2 men this year are yourself and Darren Danko. And so I look forward to the challenge.
Well, I do appreciate that. And I was talking to Mark Flackwells earlier this week, and we were talking about Darren and his successful year. But we talked about, and I don't have the numbers in front of me to back this up, but our father said that Darren can have the tendency to throw a few clunkers in. So for the most part, he's very high, but he can throw in a few duds. And I haven't been perfect, but I think one of the keys to my success has been only one time the leading scorer in the week, but very consistent week in, week out, which starts with my running attack, which has been great. So I look at it, Daddy looked at it as you're going to have to play D at some point, but I look at it as if I can hold on to that number 1 seed, maybe one of these other teams can end up taking him out. Because right now it appears that The only thing that could possibly change would be is if I lost 2 games and Darren won the next 2 games. Those two are pretty much locked in at 2 and 3, and then it's just a battle at 4, which Sean is still in, barely. But, no, well, he's not.
And with Gronk out for the year, really makes it even more of a barely.
Right, and he would have a tough road because in points he's down quite a bit to you and Luke. But Luke, he's only down 30 to you. He's had 200 more points scored against him than you have. So we'll see how this shakes out. He's also played, which makes sense for why the point differential. He's also already played, Darren, and he's already played me, where you still have those 2 teams to play.
Interesting note about that, though. I'm going to play someone like Darren twice, whereas he's only going to play him once.
Why is that?
I don't know why that schedule worked out that way, but as some owners in the league have said, we should look about scrambling the things up, but the divisions up. But yes, when I played Darren earlier, it's when I scored 195 points, and he scored 222 Deuces Wild earlier in the year.
Uh-huh.
So. But again, I'm not complaining about it. I look forward to it. But that is something that I've had to deal with this year, as we have all had to deal with our own challenges.
That's for sure. And just briefly on the divisions, I mean, you could scramble it, but if you look at it, both divisions have a team in the 1600s, one team with a team in the 1700s. Obviously, Wilton's been the highest scoring team easily, and then you have 3 teams for us in the 1900s. They have one team in 1925, and then Rick at 1847. So the point totals haven't been that crazy, and arguably those guys had a tougher road because of how strong Darren's been. I'm just glad I got to play you guys this year.
Meaning, of course, Batter Ray and Sean O'Neill.
Meaning, what about them?
You said you're happy you got to play us this year. I would assume that's who you're talking about.
Yes, of course. But no, I mean it's nice to keep things fresh. I'll have to go back and look at the scheduling and see what happened there because historically we've tried to have it where you play your divisional opponents twice and the other teams one time. Let's take a look at this week. Let's see what we got. You and I, our matchup began already. Both have 8 people yet to play. As I told you, I had at the last minute tried to switch out Dak Prescott for Kirk Cousins. Missed the deadline. Probably, we'll see what happens. Probably would have been the best move. Only 14 points for Dak, 13.9 for Steph Diggs. What are your thoughts in this matchup when you see kind of how my guys have performed to this point? Are you feeling a lot better than you were Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah, because I think Dak underperformed myself. Diggs was right on or about where I didn't see his projection before the game. But I would think Dak, I was expecting Dak to be in the 20s, so I'm encouraged by that. What I'm not encouraged by is my 2 players' performances. I'm very happy with Minnesota. They were projected under 10 points, I think 9 points. Witten coming up with a goose egg. I'm trying to keep a positive eye on this because if Witten scored me 10 and Minnesota scored me 8, I would be like, I'd be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But Minnesota scored me 18.5. So I need to focus on that. Forget the goose egg. I've won, actually, this is an interesting fact. I've won the most points in a week this year getting a goose egg. So this could be a good omen.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is, and I kind of zoned off there for a moment, but I wonder if maybe you said something about the fact that this is like the first time in 150 games that Jason Witten has gone without a catch. So this is very unusual. I don't know if he's ever gone a game in his career. I don't know his total number of games in his career. But
over Thanksgiving, I was speaking with the relevance watching the Cowboys game, and every commercial they go to is Jason Witten catching this pass, Jason Witten catching that, and then in the real game, he gets no action.
Yeah, it was crazy. And again, that kind of canceled each other out. Dak with a less than par performance, and then Witten as well. The way I look at it, Diggs is, like you said, about where you expected. Some people thought he might have a bigger day, but getting 14, 15 points from him was great. Dak got 7 points less than what was projected, so it's not too bad. And when you look at the projected game going forward, we're basically dead even where you would expect. 142 to 140 is the projection they have. I love the fact that you've got Derek Carr. I like that Mark Ingram. I think has got a tough matchup in that I think Detroit's only allowed 5 rushing touchdowns all year long, and he's been a bit banged up. But obviously, someone that's a must play. Julio, always big. Mike Evans, you arguably probably do have the best receiving core in the league. And Williams has been great as well. So I would personally, not to jinx you, I would give you the edge in this matchup. If you're only down 10 and have your quarterback still to play and got 18 points from, or whatever it was, from your defense, I'm going to have to do a lot, I think, to pull off this victory. I think you should feel pretty good about what you got going on here today.
I do feel pretty good about it, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. I am watching. I saw Ingram now is no longer questionable. He's active with a toe injury. And I'm watching Williams, Tyrell Williams out of San Diego. He's still questionable. Throughout the week, they said it was just a minor injury. But I am ready to insert Tyler Boyd or I don't even know his first name, the slot receiver out of Atlanta, Gabriel. But I've got him as well, just in the case of a late-minute scratch. But I'm feeling pretty good at this point, but you don't want to get ahead of yourself.
Right, and I wanted to pull up one thing. I got to pull up your ball club here real quick, and so Tyrell. Is his name
Tyler too? I think they both might be Tyler.
So Tyrell had 8 receptions last week, 8, 5, 6. So he's been very strong. And then who's the other player you were questioning?
I was saying
Taylor Gabriel.
Would be Boyd out of Cincinnati or Gabriel out of Atlanta.
Okay, yeah, Taylor Gabriel put up 26 last week. Yeah, he's active. Yeah, Tyrell is the only questionable person on the roster. Okay. I think the next logical game to go. So again, I never want to lose. I've gotten lucky quite a few times this year. Guys really stepping up, but I think there's a pretty decent chance that I'll fall this week to Bermuda. Probably something you didn't expect to hear me say here on live air.
Well, you play with the house money too, so it doesn't really affect you unless you lose next week as well.
Right. And again, the only way that works is if Darren wins. But again, if Darren ends up winning the next 2 games, I fall into that second slot, and again, don't have to play him in week 1. That ends up being that you end up playing Darren in week 1 of the playoffs if you can hold on. So I don't want to act like I'm scared of anybody, but again, you got to play the numbers, and if you can avoid a team that's the highest scoring team in the league for as long as possible. We all know how many times has Mark Wells, the senior, had a 6-7 record, no offense, and got into the playoffs and knocked out a Batter Ray or whatever, and next thing you know, he's the champ. Team Irrelevance has done it. I think someone else has done it with a less than 500 record, won it all. So avoid as long as possible, and hope that when it comes down to it, I can put up the performance I need. I wanted to show you something. I'm gonna go grab it, but I'll kind of lead you in here. The other must-see game this week: Bucks County versus the Kool Hand, father-son. Always dramatic. And again, a matchup that looks to be close. Lukey Jr. and the Bucks County Brewmasters. 159.4 to 151 is the projection. Please go.
Yeah, this is obviously the Kool Hand has run into some unfortunate happenings this year. I think when you draft an entire NFL roster on your fantasy team, you're looking for trouble. He's got Russell Wilson, he's got Rawls, Jimmy Graham, and he had Christine Michael, who's now in Green Bay, who was on Seattle, and isn't there one more? And Pro-Sice. So, word to the wise going forward, Luke, Senior, try to spread out your talent a little bit going forward. I think too much Seattle, it was spelled doom for the Kool Hand this year. And Bucks County's first year has been very impressive.
Can you give me your best Christopher Russo, Seattle?
What does he do? Just do a long ass? Seattle. I don't know how he did it.
That's tough. I'm actually drawing a blank myself. But what I wanted to tell you was I knew this matchup was coming. I was in the store Friday. I had to pick this up when I saw it. Never tried it before, but I think it's a fitting beer that they should run out and get today. It's the Pennsylvania Tuxedo, made by Dogfish Head. It's a pale ale brewed with Pennsylvania spruce tips. So the finest spruce tips around. Maybe cook up a few steak tips, and we'll do that. Let me. I'm going to see if we can add. Or do you want to try? Should I try to see if I can get Luke in for a quick thought on his matchup? Let's see if we can.
Sure.
We're going to try to get him in by phone here, folks. So you will not be seeing him, but I'll see if I can find a photo to put up on screen if we can get him on the line. That'll be done in post. Again, this will be Luke Sr. And I'm sorry, normally I wouldn't make you wait for the ringing, folks, but these. Oh, Luke, we're live. This is Mark and Red on the weekly preview. We're talking Bucks County Brewmasters versus the Kool Hand. Wanted to get your thoughts on today's matchup.
I need to kick his ass. That's all. They're kicking my ass too much lately, physically, so I'm gonna kick his ass on the field.
I love it. Well, now, will you guys be watching in the same room tonight, or no?
What's that?
Will you be watching in the same? Will you be watching in the same room today?
He's not working.
Oh man.
He's he's gonna work till 7 o'clock, I think.
Oh my God. We got Red's on the line. Red was just giving his feedback. Red, you want to just give him a brief recap of what you said and so we get his reaction?
Well, I was just making the point that Seattle heavy is not a recipe for success going forward. My apologies.
No, I will definitely change that next year. I can't change it now. A little late.
Well,
they're growing pains. No hard feelings.
This year, he had a lot of bad games, and normally I would have been a little close to a lot of those games had Russell been there this year.
Now, Luke, do you think so Lukey Jr. He's not here to speak for himself, but if he were to pull off the upset today against you, do you like his chances of making the playoffs over Red?
I do. Who's Red playing? Who you playing, Red?
Red?
I'm playing Marky.
Yes, he's playing me today, and then he's got Darren next week.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, no, I respect. Well, here's the thing: if my guys change the plan every fucking week, which they never did, if I got my average 15 points and 20, 30 out of Buffalo, I'd be much better than I have been. But I'd be getting fucking goose eggs and shit for some of these guys. But no, it's my own fault. I didn't have a good running back either all year, except for D'Angelo the first couple weeks. That's it.
Yeah. No, that's tough. That's very tough.
There's got to be a thing. I think there should be a limit on how many great running backs you should have. He's got all the goddamn running backs in the fucking league, it seems.
I know. No, that's been the key. He's projected for 192 points this week.
Yeah, well, I expect him to break that. He's killing it, man.
Well, great. Well, Luke, thanks for popping in. We're going to head back to the preview, but we'll be in touch throughout the day, and best of luck to you today.
I got him on. Yeah, no problem. I got him on. All right, very good. I'll talk to you guys.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
You never know what you're going to get, Well, you kind of do, but you never do. So there was Luke's take. We'll see if I have time to edit it.
Totally backed up my analysis of his squad. I really appreciate that.
No, that was good. Around the league, there's really not much else going on. Again, team irrelevance, pretty much out of it. Darren projected for close to 200 points again. Rick's a 30-point dog. Obviously, the game between Sean and Batter has little to no impact. And then right now, BJ's Little Pals is a 50-point underdog. So most likely that's going down. So really the two games to watch this week are our matchup and the Bucks County and the Kool Hand matchup.
Yeah, without question. And Darren, I just scrolled when you were talking about that. I scrolled over to Darren's matchup. And the thing with his team, not only the running backs that were mentioned, but he has Rodgers and Roethlisberger too. So he's got backups out the wazoo, as Luke would say, and ammunition to spare. It really is very impressive.
Yeah, and if one of them ends up having problems with their gal, then you go to the other quarterback. It's kind of what Darren has that luxury. I don't know who Dak's dating. Any idea?
I don't. No.
Okay.
No.
And Kirk Cousins, no one famous?
Not that I know of. No.
Okay. Any other final thoughts? We know people have a lot of football to watch, so I don't want to drag this on too long.
If it holds like this in the playoffs, you're going to see the two of us Our Father, and Darren. Last year, the playoffs were the two of us, Our Father, and Batter. I'm noticing a trend here.
Yeah, I mean, thank God the three of us aren't all in the same division. You, me, and our Father. You know, it all comes down to the genes, my boy.
Consistent excellence, really, is what it boils down to.
Well, that's going to do it pretty much for this week's matchup. Despite what I said today, I will not back down. We want to thank, of course, Red Wells joining us from the Valley of the Sun. A quick call-in from Luke. And you all for tuning in. We also want to thank Luke for delivering Pennsylvania for Donald J. Trump. I'm going to have the Pennsylvania tuxedo today. Red, what do you have on the menu?
Right now, I've got ginger ale in my Santa mug, but I might be going to a little gin and tonic as soon as the mood strikes me, maybe around noon.
All right. Well, from all of us here at Wells Productions and Eli over my shoulder, have a great day. Red, I'll be looking for that jacket under the tree come Christmas. Oh, Brady versus Manning.
Very good. It's a great read, folks.
Brothers giving to brothers. Okay, folks. Talk to you later.